Friday the 13th, Child's Play, Terrifier, The Strangers, Pearl, Scream. Different movies, same formula. Brutal kills, shock value, and classic horror tropes. The masked killer, the final survivor, and the people who refuse to believe anything is wrong until it's too late. So today I had a thought about the Griffins in different genres because clearly I have nothing better to think about other than Family Guy. Regardless, that is what I want to dive into in this video. So today we are breaking down who lives, who dies, and who is the masked slasher behind it all. First death is Meg. There is no way in hell the writers would kill anyone else before they kill either Meg or Cleveland. And since we're focusing on the Griffins especially, it is Meg. She's the punching bag, constantly ignored, and usually the one sent into danger.
I meant I can't do it because there are burglars down there.
Come on, they're not gonna touch you. You're covered with spit.
If she disappeared, nobody would even take it seriously at first, which makes her perfect for a first death. Not too significant or too obvious, but good enough to scare the viewer. Our neglectful parent trope falls to Lois. Lois is that horror movie parent who absolutely refuses to believe anything weird is happening. Kids say there's a killer in the house, and she thinks it's stress, there's blood on the walls, probably paint.
This is Guy. He's after us in our dreams. But that's just not reality, Nancy.
Classic horror movie logic, and I think this applies to Lois. Because of her naturally neglectful nature, and from having to put up with Peter all of these years, I think she'd be pretty desensitized to hearing something like there's a killer on the loose.
Notice anything unusual?
I sure do. His father's not in any of them.
She would definitely get a moment where she realizes that everything her kids say were true, but by that point it is too late. However, unlike Peter, Lois survives, because in a horror movie, at least one parent should survive by the end, and let's be real, Peter dies. No debate. He's loud, careless, and the type to go to investigate alone with zero survival instincts or to get distracted and killed. He'd either die trying to fight the killer or do something stupid that draws attention and gets him killed. No matter what the method, Peter is a goner. Brian, he'd be the final death. Brian feels like the character who almost makes it out. He's rational, thinks everything through, and would probably try to reason with the killer or go back to save someone for the ego boost, just like he did in the 9/11 episode.
Time to terrorize the terrorists.
Ugh, you prepared catchphrases for yourself? No, not necessarily.
Mohammed oughta stayed home. Houston, we have a solution. Tell him to ground every plane out of the East Coast. Seacrest out.
Or maybe he even went back thinking that he's doing the right thing. Either way, last minute kill. He's the emotional death that's meant to hit the audience right before the end when the audience is pretty sure that nobody else is going to die. And since Family Guy already killed Brian once and traumatized everyone, it fits. And yes, I'm aware that because this is Family Guy that it wouldn't carry through to the next episode, but my point is, if they've done it before, they'll do it again. Stewie is definitely the final survivor. He's smarter than everyone in the show. He's an underdog, someone that people wouldn't see as a threat because he's a baby, and therefore the killer would be completely unprepared for him and his intentions. He would definitely be the person to put a stop to the killer in the end.
If anybody's gonna take that bitch down, it's gonna be me.
But he's not the only family member who survives. You know how I mentioned earlier that I think Meg would be the first death? Well, I do believe that. But I also believe that she would be the character to make a surprise comeback. She's crazy, she's also technically a Russian spy, she's extremely unpredictable, and if anybody were to fit that unpredictability of someone coming back in the end, it would be Meg. As for Chris, I actually think that he would be a secret accomplice to the killer. Chris is desperate for approval and attention because his dad doesn't give it to him, ever. And yes, Chris does have a soft spot, which I think that someone of authority could prey on, and therefore convince him to help them carry out the murders. This would need to be someone that Chris not only trusts, but that he has a close relationship with. It would also need to be someone that's got fair motivation to want to slaughter a family, and also the means to do so. Which is why I believe that the killer would be Carter Pewterschmidt. I know he's not technically a Griffin, but he's rich, he's evil, he's morally corrupt, and clearly doesn't care about human life.
Carter, you've discovered the holy grail of modern medicine. Why the hell would you keep it buried like this? I'll tell you why. Because there's far more money to be made in treating a disease than in curing it. Why cure someone of cancer in a day if we can treat them for a lifetime and bill them every step along the way?
He participates in countless crimes throughout the show, including human trafficking, and he hates Peter. He has tried many times to get Peter out of Lois's life, and each time he has been unsuccessful through bribery and other forms of manipulation.
Take this and stay away from my daughter forever.
$1 million?
$1 million.
No deal. Lois may be worth $1 million to you, but to me, she's worthless. I love her, Mr. Pewterschmidt.
And therefore, he took extreme measures. This was Carter's way of getting Peter out of Lois's life once and for all, which is also the reason why Lois is still alive. Carter doesn't care about Peter or Brian because they're not Lois or his grandchildren. And I don't think he would have particularly liked Meg, which is why I led more towards her being a surprise comeback. They may have just killed her as collateral damage to fulfill his main goal of killing Peter, but this wouldn't be out of concern or love for Lois. This would just be about him getting the power and control he wants over her life back. So there we go, that is the Griffins if they were in a slasher film. Half of them end up dead, half of them survive. But knowing Family Guy, this would all reset by the next episode. Hi, thank you so much for watching. I know I always do really long outros, but today is going to be a shorter one because I am just so sick this week. I'm sorry that my voice isn't extremely clear. It's just how sick I am. The editing is very simple because I don't have my laptop, but also because of my headache. I just can't look at the screen for very long. But I still hope you enjoyed. This was actually inspired by a comment that I got on a previous video of mine where a person pointed out that the point that I was making had already been made several times by several other people, and I was like, oh yeah, no, 100%, like I'm not saying this is a new point or like a new creative video, it's just me sharing my opinion to hear what other people have to say back, you know? But then it did get me thinking because I appreciate all my comments, and I was thinking like, to be fair, that is like a bit of constructive criticism. Like that isn't anything new, and maybe people do want to see something new. So I was watching Terrifier because I love that film, and then it just dawned on me, you know, what would this be like in Family Guy? You know, how would they handle something like this? So that's what inspired today's video. I just wanted to say before I go, thank you so much for all the support, all my commenters, everyone who comments frequently. I recognize your accounts. I love to see you guys coming back again. Like, it just means so much to me. It honestly, truly does. Thank you so much for, I think as of time of recording, it's 79 subscribers. I just appreciate it so much. My next goal is obviously, you know, 100 subscribers. But that's like a little bit in the future. So I'm going to set a subscriber goal of maybe like 85, so it'll be 6 more subscribers by my next post, so hopefully I can get there. But of course, only subscribe if you actually enjoyed the video. If you want to let me know how you feel in the comments, please do. I love reading my comments. But yes, thank you so much. Bye.